My name is Ella Bates and I'll be deep diving into the skill of self-regulated learning and how university students can better understand it to achieve success. College of Education and Human Services draw on Zimmerman's review, defining self-regulation as a self-directive process through which learners transform their mental abilities into task-related skills. This skill allows students to be active participants in their learning, taking autonomy over how they learn and the outcomes of their learning. And when we unpack self-regulated learning, Russell and colleagues define the collective term as the progression of students' autonomy for learning. The key phases of Zimmerman's model are forethought, performance, and self-reflection. Through this skill, learners become active, strategic, and reflective, which is highlighted through Zimmerman's 2011. This is a skill that can be taught, practiced, and strengthened. Within the forethought phase, learners engage with two sources of self-regulation: task analysis and self-motivation beliefs. Skunk and Zimmerman state that self-efficacy strongly shapes how students set goals and choose strategies. These stages of the phase influence the behaviour in the performance phase, which guides students to stay motivated, manage their time, and resist distraction. The performance model transcends from using concept of the previous phase. As students plan, they introduce strategies, attention management, and progress observation. With the use of metacognitive strategies, such as task analysis and imagery to learn, it improves success rates. Skunk and Zimmerman also note that highly self-regulated learners use motivational strategies as well, which includes self-consequences, to reward oneself for meeting goals or to adjust their behaviour when they do not. Then comes the self-reflection phase, which entails the evolution of their performance, taking in the considerations of what worked after task completion and what can be adapted for the following time. This self-reflection process helps students to feed back into the next cycle, leading to improvement over time. Self-regulated learning can be a valuable tool once it's been adapted into higher education. It requires a level of independence that students haven't really experienced before. It helps students to modify their expectations by utilising tools to organise their time, maintain motivation, and persist through challenges. Jivet's and colleagues' review, it highlights that self-regulated learning is one of the strongest predictors of academic achievement. And Skunk and Zimmerman's 2007 review demonstrates that self-regulated learning supports metacognitions, which is the ability to think about one's own thinking. It's essential for deep learning, and these findings showcase that self-regulated learning as a foundational for university success. The skill of self-regulated learning is embedded within everyday university tasks. Utilizing this skill ensures that multiple behaviors can be achieved, and a complex metacognitive process is reflected. Students use self-regulated learning when planning weekly study schedules. They break down large assignments, they can monitor their understanding during lectures, and they use feedback to improve future work. Russell and colleagues 2020 argue that universities should make self-regulated learning visible by modelling these processes through their teaching. When educators demonstrate how to plan, monitor, and reflect, students are more likely to adopt these behaviours themselves. And it's particularly important for first-year students to better understand how to manage the demands of higher education. University students can adopt many strategies whilst enhancing the self-regulated learning skill. Strategies like goal setting influences successful practices. When students can use Dorain's SMART acronym, it creates a clear vision for students to begin their learning journey. It contributes to a successful use of self-regulated learning, which ensures practical and positive outcomes for learners. This strategy provides clarity for students' end goal. Tasks become manageable and motivation is easily maintained by outlining clear and realistic goals. Zimmerman's research shows that goal setting increases motivation and persistence, and Russell and colleagues' review adds that students benefit when educators model how to set realistic goals, making the process visible and achievable, which is linking back to the context of self-regulated learning in higher education. A second strategy that university students can apply to their learning is self-monitoring, which Jivett and colleagues note that metacognitive awareness is formed when this process happens. This happens through tools such as weekly checklists, learning journals, or progress trackers. Russell and colleagues emphasize that reflection must be scaffolded, meaning students need structured opportunities to practice it. Utilizing these tools helps students to stay aware of their progress and identify areas where they need to adjust their approach. Self-monitoring supports both the performance and reflection phases of self-regulated learning. It encourages students to check their understanding, track their completion of tasks, and reflect on what strategies are working and what's not. In summary, self-regulated learning is a vital skill for university success. It empowers students to take control of their learning, manage their time effectively, and adapt to challenges. By using strategies such as SMART goal setting and self-monitoring, students can strengthen their independence, motivation, and academic outcomes. Self-regulated learning is not just a university skill, it is a lifelong learning skill that supports personal and professional growth.